What's going on? You're in the Beat Sessions. I'm your host, Mitchell Weary. It's Friday, March 25th, and it is the return of British alternative rockers Placebo. Their new album, Never Let Me Go. It's their 8th studio album and their follow-up to 2013's Loud Like Love. And here we have another 90s act that I'm just so thrilled to have back. These guys have such a distinct, unique sound, and I love what it draws on. David Bowie, Iggy Pop and the Stooges, Nine Inch Nails, Sonic Youth, The Cure. Gives you an idea of all the different types of genres that these guys are blending to create their sound, and it's what makes it so big. That and Brian Molko and Stefan Alsdahl, dude, they're just a massive wave of guitars that they bring you on just about every song. I absolutely love it. One of my favorite things about this band. And these guys, man, Brian Molko more than anything too, he has this way of just wanting you to dial in to your bad self. I love that about this guy. He's been very open and honest in interviews and lyrically in the music about his recreational drug use. There's a lot of content about sexuality in the music, and to a certain degree, it can be off-putting to some people, but I like how in your face it was. It definitely adds to this punk rock element, which is a big part of their style as well. And I think it's really interesting when you think about where we're at today in society in the 1990s. I think these guys were just ahead of their time. I think they pushed the envelope just a little too much, which is so funny in a country like America where we see it all the time. And, maybe to a certain degree in the 90s when these guys were around. I mean, I think of a guy like Marilyn Manson stirring the pot. And I mean, these guys, they have the ability to stir it just as much. And so I always found it interesting that they never garnered any popularity in America. It's I feel like America's also one of those countries too where it's like you can do it surreptitiously, but don't talk about it and don't tell anybody that you did something like this, which I like that about Brian. I like that about his music, and I think it's what makes it so powerful and so cathartic. And I think it's what ultimately draws you in. It's what's so seductive about it is that through the music and through his lyrics, he has this way of exploring this very tempting side that we all have. He's kind of like the devil on your shoulder, and I love this guy for that reason. His lyrical content as well, too, it can be pretty obscure, and what I like about this new record is that these guys have grown older, and the content much more mature. Obviously, there's definitely that edgy stuff there, but I really just like the overall perspective that he's providing on this record. It's, it's something that's bigger than the band, which I feel like is not an attitude in the past that they've had. And so I'm loving this album. Overall, it's phenomenal. We're going to get into it towards the end. And the last few songs kind of, I'm not really crazy about the D side of this record. But, you have a band coming out of the 90s that, with the creation of the CD and with the amount of space that you're able to put on a compact disc versus a vinyl record, you have bands that started making music differently and creating albums differently. And this is definitely a band that I feel followed suit with that. So we have a pretty big record here. It is a double album. And to a certain degree, I kind of wish they just axed the D side. Those songs are good, but I don't feel that they flow with the rest of the album. I don't think there's a whole lot of continuity in that D side when you consider the rest of the record, because I love it and it's phenomenal. It kicks off with Forever Chemicals. You got this low tempo, sludgy alternative rock song. This might be one of my favorite Placebo songs. I love the rolling bass. It definitely has got a bit of this kind of edgy, shoegazy My Bloody Valentine vibe. Just a phenomenal way to kick off this record. Leads into Beautiful James, another song that they've released as a single that's just been, really blowing up and people are really responding well to. It's got this great slow build in the verse. I love the chorus and the intro. The chorus has got this big guitar and this very bright synths. It's really a nicely done song. Leads into Hugs, which I love this song too. This song is a really good example of just that wall of sound that they can bring at you with all of these guitars. There's a lot of guitars on this song, and it's phenomenal. Love the stomping drum behind the vocal too. It's really I dig the track a lot. Happy Birthday in the Sky. It changes the pace a little bit on this thing. You get a light riff over a gentle bass groove, and it comes at a perfect moment. It's an excellent song. It's got an excellent hook. The Prodigal is your 5th song. This song is amazing. This almost kind of dipped into beach house territory a little bit. Very ambient. You get this nice string component to it. Beautiful textures. It's an excellent song. Leads into Surrounded by Spies, your 6th song. Dark Change. The song before it, Prodigal, had kind of this lighter element to it. Surrounded by Spies, the title kind of alludes to where it's going, but definitely a darker track. I like the mellow industrial feel of this song. And then you get this just great build, halfway through it, there's this strong element that comes in driven by this breakbeat drum. And again, just another phenomenal song. Try Better Next Time. And this song title is a perfect example of of where Brian's going with this record as far as maturing his lyrical content. And I dig the perspective. I dig that, he's the type of artist that has dealt with a lot himself personally too. Very open about a lot of his stuff. And I'm sure he hasn't gotten the greatest feedback from a lot of people on that, but he's the type of guy that is also not going to care, and I think that the overall focus on this record that I like is focus on yourself. Worry about you, let other people do their thing and worry about themselves. And I think the world might be a better place because of that. Good on you for delivering that, Brian. I absolutely love it. Try better next time. But it's just this great, simple two-note rocker for the most part. I really like the hook and the chorus and the way that builds in. Great song. Sad White Reggae is definitely the funniest song title on this album. And this is the beginning of my favorite block of music on this record. Try Better Next Time opens up the C side, but these next three songs, Sad with Reggae, I love the change of pace that it provides for the record. It leads into Twin Demons, and then Chemtrails is your 10th song. And just high energy songs, big soaring melodies. Chemtrails is phenomenal. Probably my favorite song on the record next to Forever Chemicals. And I kind of wish they just wrapped the record up with it, because I feel these back three songs, they're great. They're good. I don't want to say they're necessarily great. Fix Yourself, I'm not a huge fan of, but I like the message. I like the lyrical content. But I just felt that D side really just kind of stomped on the continuity and flow of this record, not in a way that's super detrimental. I'm going to vinyl please this thing because I love this band and I'm really excited about this record. And I think sides A, B, and C are completely badass and totally worth listening to. But, if you find yourself on the hook streaming this thing and listening to it and not wanting to pay the $40 for the vinyl record for that D side, I get it. I understand where your head's at. These three songs could have been cool on an EP, maybe on the next record. I'm not sure, but overall, I will say with that criticism, this record is pretty damn good, and I'm very pleased with it. We're gonna vinyl please this thing, and I think you'll really enjoy it. Check these guys out if you're not familiar with them. Again, they just have this great, just glam rock sound. All those wonderful bands that I mentioned. There's industrial, there's post-punk, there's just all this great stuff that's going on with these guys. So I hope you enjoyed this record. Hope you find this review helpful. Please like this video, subscribe to the channel, do all the things to help me blow this project up in 2022. Stay tuned throughout the week for more album reviews. We'll see you next time on the Beat Sessions.